So, before you decide on what to protect and how to protect it and how much it's worth, be honest with yourself. So, this is the video on the gut check exercise. I just did and posted a video on alternatives to utility patents. So, this is part two to that, the gut check exercise, um, which is a good one to do whenever you're trying to decide something for your business. You know, is it worth investing in? Use this gut check exercise. It's not just for intellectual property. Again, so in the last video I talked about design patents, trade secrets, trademarks, copyrights, and strong contracts, all of which are great, and most of which you can use along with utility patents. But the important thing is to make sure that you choose the right protection. So here is the gut check exercise. And just in case you didn't see that, the point is, if you pursue something and it doesn't end up giving you the protection you want, I would suggest that perhaps, even though it was cheaper, it was a waste of money. So it's kind of like buying a pair of pants that you don't particularly like or want or even need, but they're a good deal and they fit, so you buy them. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I certainly have. And then they sit in your closet unworn until you eventually give them away with the tags on them. So then I would ask yourself, was that a good deal or was that a waste of money? And how do you feel when you see them hanging in your closet? How do you feel when you're like putting them in the bag for, Goodwill with the tags still on them? So it's sort of like that. So do the gut check exercise, and here's how you do it. You imagine your nightmare scenario. So, for example, a deep pocket competitor copies your invention and then files a utility patent application on it, and then markets to all of your customers about their innovative solution and how your customers should work with them. Maybe they even come after you, and if you're using it, and try to get you to stop using it. You get a cease and desist from them. So be honest with yourself about what that situation, what is your future you dealing with? How much does that cost your future self? And I would encourage you to think not just the money, but also your feelings. Like, how do you feel when you need to tell your company, your employees, your shareholders, your family, your clients, yourself, when you have to actually deal with this, how much time and money and energy are you going to spend trying to get out of this? And do you just walk away from your invention and let their competitor take it? Or, do you try to fight it even though you don't have any kind of legal rights in place? You don't have any legal protections? Like, do you try anyway? Do you hire a lawyer and say, like, what do I do? How do I, I'm going to fight, and you're fighting from a position of weakness? Do you beg the competitor to at least let you use it without paying a license to them, to not sue you? What do you do? And so this is important to understand, that a lower price now does not mean that it costs you less. So, and this can be, it's money now versus money later, and also it's considering the non-monetaries. So even just looking at the money, if it costs you $40,000 and it saves a client relationship worth $100,000 a year, then that saves you $60,000 the first year and $100,000 every year after that. I would say that's a pretty good use of $40,000, even though $40,000 for most of my clients, and certainly for myself, that's a pretty big number. That's not something I'm going to spend without thinking about it. But again, if that delivers something that's worth $100,000 a year, that can be worth it. If it costs $5,000 and it allows your competitor to take that important $100,000 a year client, then it costs you $105,000. That $5,000, I'm saving money solution costs you $105,000 the first year, and it costs you $100,000 every other year. So, I'm going to go over those numbers again in case that didn't land. So let's say there's a choice. You have a choice between something that costs $40,000 and something that costs $5,000. The $40,000 thing saves a client relationship that's worth $100,000 a year to your company. So that one saves you $60,000 the first year and $100,000 every year after that. The $5,000 one allows your competitor to take that client, so it costs you $105,000 the first year and $100,000 every other year. So, which one ended up saving you money? I would say the $40,000 ended up saving you a lot of money, and the $5,000 one ended up costing you a lot of money. So the point is that no matter how low the price, if it isn't going to do what you need it to do, then it was a waste of money, and it might even cost you. So that's, again, just to say, that's the gut check exercise. When you're deciding on any decision, actually any key decision that you're doing in your business, think about this and be honest with yourself, because it can be very tempting to save money now. Just be sure that you are comfortable that it's not going to end up costing you money later. I hope that was helpful. Catherine Cavella, IP Works Law.